Here's one I didn't want to watch. This is a video that I got, Blu-ray that I got, and sometimes I get these stacks of review discs, and some I'm just like, oh boy, I can't wait to watch that. And some I try to watch, related to when the due dates are and when the street dates are. And this is what I kept putting off because I just felt it like it was going to be this bad late 80s horror film. And I was right, but in a different way than you think. So this is Witch Trap from 1989. This is an MVD Rewind Collection Blu-ray release from director Kevin S. Tenney. This is who was the director and writer of Witchboard and did Night of the Demons, so he's got a bit of a pedigree, and I just kept putting it off. It's a video box cover. I remember seeing ads for this in these magazine called Coming Soon that one of my local video stores would give out for free, and it was really kind of like a video store trade magazine, but it would have all the release dates and all the synopsis for upcoming stuff, all the box cover art, and they would have full page trade ads for these various video releases, videotape at the time that were coming out, and I remember seeing this in there. It just never looked like it was going to appeal to me. And finally, I'm like, today's the day. I have to watch Witch Trap so I can share my thoughts with you people. And boy, was this movie fun. Wow, I did not expect to enjoy Witch Trap at all, let alone how much I did here. So the basic deal with this film, it's 91 minutes. The basic deal with this is that it's basically kind of like The Haunting or Legend of Hell House, but with a little bit of gore, a little bit of nudity, a little bit of gore. Paranormal investigation team is hired by a man who owns this house. His uncle died in this house. He's been trying to rent it out to people and nobody will stay more than 3 days. The last guy, a magician who had rented the house, the film opens with seeing them. I'm not going to give you way too much of what goes on in the plot, but magician rents this house and is thrown or willingly jumps out of upper story window and lands with a splat on the sidewalk. Nobody can survive in this house. Nobody will stay. What's wrong? Is this haunted? What's going on? The legend has it that the uncle who owned it was into nefarious occult practices and what's going on. We've heard tell that the ghost of the uncle is walking the halls and creeping people out and freaking people out and scaring them to death. And we need this paranormal investigation team along with a security team to go in there and, get out the Ouija board, not the witch board. This film is not a sequel to Witchboard. It says it on the packaging. It says it on the original poster. It says it. There's a version of this that's on here as an extra where the first thing that comes up is this huge text saying, this is not a sequel to Witchboard, even though it uses the same font style of W in the Witch Trap title. People are going to take out their paranormal investigation tools and see if they can figure out what's going on and maybe stop it. So we have this paranormal team that goes in. First of all, you will notice as you watch Witch Trap, the entire film is post-dubbed. And at first I'm like, sometimes they'll do that if for a scene, if there's noise and they can't get rid of it, they'll loop a scene and do ADR for that. And then sometimes an actor will have a bad accent. They used to do that in the Bond films. They would always dub the females in the Bond films because they weren't good actresses or their accents were too thick or whatever. So that happens in this movie and I'm just like, wait, everything is dubbed. They're really going, the whole movie is dubbed, which leads to this really weird kind of comedic, kind of dreamlike, otherworldly feel to it. I'm not saying the dubbing is bad. I'm not saying the dubbing is really off. Although in some cases, I was thinking, if you're going to redub an actor, maybe because they're not a great actor, you have the opportunity to put a better voice actor in there. And in some of the cases, the dubbing actors are not that great. So it's just like, wow. The visual performance is not very great, and the verbal performance is also not very great. So it adds to the fun of this movie, really. And it's got, at first I'm like kind of laughing at it because it's unintentionally funny, I think. And then I realized, no, most of this is intentionally funny. And the dialogue is really funny and sharp and sassy at times. And I really had a good time with Witch Trap. Like, I'm really surprised how much I like this. I'm watching this and I'm like, people need to see this. This needs to be a midnight movie. This needs to be something that is shown at our drive-in during VHS Fest. This is something that needs to be seen with friends because wow, is this a blast. This would be, as I often say, ideal fodder for riff tracks, although it doesn't really need the help, frankly, so much. Kevin Tenney is the director. It stars James W. Quinn, Kathleen Bailey, and Linnea Quigley is really the biggest name anybody would know in this. She has a relatively small role, but it's always fun to see her. And presented in 2.0 mono, optional English subtitles. On-screen title is The Presence, and it is the uncut version of the film. film was released as a rated R film, as just about everything was at the time. I guess they had to make some trims to get that R rating. The film has never been presented on video. I'll backtrack a little bit. Vinegar Syndrome originally released this on Blu-ray a few, I guess it might even still be in print, but Vinegar Syndrome originally released this on Blu-ray. So that transfer is what the source for this disc is, and the extras produced for Vinegar Syndrome are all the source for this disc release. Sometimes the MVD Rewind collection are like reissues of discs that have gone out of print or that other companies had put out. So nothing wrong with that. A lot of times these are more affordable editions than the originals. So the transfer is phenomenal. This does not look like an old movie. It looks like this could have been done yesterday, minus the hairstyles and all that stuff and some of the effects levels. No CGI, all practical effects, which means it looks like, if it does not necessarily look real, it looks like it's actually there. It's so silly. There's some sexism in the film, but I'm not sure if it's intentional or not. I'm not sure if it's done to be funny. The main hard-boiled private eye character is always cracking with the one-liners and has some really funny dialogue, some funny tough guy dialogue. And a lot of the times the movie is played straight, but you can tell it's supposed to be ridiculous and funny. The effects are good when they come up. There are not a lot of them, but they're effective for what they are. And it's a ridiculous movie, but it's also ridiculously fun. It's so bad, it's hilarious a lot of the time, but other times it's like knowingly funny and flip. And to me, it's just like, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally funny, the worst crime a film can commit to me is being boring or not being entertaining. And this thing was consistently entertaining. I mean, it's got a guy jumping out through the glass of an upper story window in its opening moment. And I mean, it starts with a bang. Extras, a lot of them. Commentary by Kevin Tenney, Dan Duncan, Tom Jewett, and Hal Haven, who worked on the film. Very fun, very entertaining. They're all having a great time. They're all having fun with it. They know the shortcomings the film has. They explain why things are the way they are. They have a great time. Interview with director Kevin Tenney is 23 minutes, and he explains, again, the dubbing thing and how the film got made and why. Interview with Linnea Quigley. She's super sweet, and she's fun and funny and honest about the film and her career. She's really interesting to listen to. Interview with cinematographer Tom Jewett. That's 15 minutes. Interview with special effects supervisor Tassilo Bauer. That's 17 minutes. WITCHTRAP VHS version. That is the complete film as it appeared on tape in its R-rated version, taken from an old tape. So it's got the Magnum Entertainment logo. It's got the original ads at the beginning of the tape, the original FBI logo, 4:3, looks like a tape. And then the photo gallery is just like a simple photo gallery of stills from the film. So let's look at the packaging, shall we? MVD Rewind collection packages its things most of the time to look like old videotapes. So you've got like the video store sticker on there. It's got the spine, not that you can really see that, and the back, so it looks like an old tape. That is the slip case, which, as we know, slips to reveal a video cover that looks a lot like the old Media Home Entertainment covers, which is a very nice touch, I think. And that's front and back. Clear case. So you get the disc itself, which looks like the spine label on a VHS tape, and it's like the plastic texture in the photo there of an old videotape. You've got the reversible cover, which emulates or replicates the original poster or video box art. And then you've got an insert poster, mini poster of this MVD Rewind collection art for this. So this movie is so much fun. If you like 80s horror, if you like the other films this director made, Witchboard and Night of the Demons, which I'm not personally a big fan of Night of the Demons. I know it's got a huge following now. I actually like WitchTrap better. And Witchboard is super cheesy. This is all in that realm. Great movie to watch with friends. So available now on Blu-ray from the MVD Rewind collection is director Kevin Tenney's 1989, dare I say masterpiece? Not really, WitchTrap.